This screencast is going to discuss finding the area of squares and rectangles. So the first thing that we want to touch on is the definition, or what does it mean to find area of a shape. So when we're finding the area of a shape, we're actually finding the amount of space inside of that shape. And these shapes that we're referring to are just two-dimensional shapes. So we're not talking about 3D shapes, just two-dimensional shapes. So let's go ahead and get that definition written down so we can refer to that as we go through the video. And notice that I underlined the word inside. That's going to be really important. Whenever we're finding the area, we're looking at the inside of a shape, how much space is inside. So let's just talk quickly about the formula sheet that you should have in your possession. I believe that yours is coral colored. Okay, so that you can easily find it in your binder and you can refer to that while we're working through this unit. So today we're going to specifically look at the area formula for a rectangle and the area formula for a square. One thing that I do want to mention is that the area formula for a rectangle can also be used to find the area of a square, because a square is a type of rectangle. It fits the description of a rectangle, so you can use the same area formula. If you don't have your formula sheet out, you may want to get that out now so that you can refer to that a little bit later when you have to work on your own examples. So let's try an example together. The first thing that we want to do is we want to look at the shape that we have on our screen, and we can see that because our length and our width are two different measurements, we are going to be looking at a rectangle. So we are going to use the area formula for a rectangle, and that is A equals LW. So let's just review very quickly. This really is area equals length times width. Anytime you see two letters side by side, there is an invisible multiplication sign in between them. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our numbers and we're going to replace them in our formula. So area equals length, which is 6, times our width, which is 2. We're going to multiply those numbers together, and we're going to get an area of 12. 12 what? Well, because we're talking about area, our unit has to be squared. So it's going to end up being 12 centimeters squared, and that would be my area for this rectangle. Area equals 12 centimeters squared. Remember to square the label. Let's take a look at another example. This, you'll notice, is a square. So because this is a square, they actually only gave us one measurement of 5 inches. We're going to take a look at both formulas so that you guys kind of get an understanding of how you would use the formulas. So let's go ahead and use our rectangle formula first, because that's what we just used on the previous slide. And then we'll look at our actual square area formula. So if we know that one side of our square is 5 inches, that means that all the sides of my square is 5 inches, because a square has 4 equal sides. So when I'm finding my area, I'm just going to multiply 5 times 5. So that means my area would be 25. 25 what? 25 inches squared. So that's my answer using my rectangular area formula. Let's go ahead and take a look at our square area formula. So when we look at our square area formula, we'll see that we have an A equals S squared. Well, A we know stands for area, but what does this S stand for? This S stands for all of our sides. And because our sides are the same length, we are multiplying side by side, or two of the same numbers together. If you remember what squared means that we're technically multiplying side times side, because we have the same number 2 times. That's what A equals S squared means. So when we go to substitute in, we put a 5 in there, and you could write 5 squared. 5 squared is really 5 times 5, not 5 times 2, 5 times 5. You could also keep it as 5 squared and type that in on your calculator and get an answer that way as well. We are going to get the same exact answer that we got using our rectangle formula, area formula, as if we were to use our square formula. So notice both methods get us the same answer. All right, it's your turn now, so what I would like you to do is pause the video. Once you hit play, then the answers are going to be there, the work is going to be there, so don't hit play until you have an answer for all three. You should have your formula sheet out to reference, your rectangular area formula, and your square formula. If you don't feel comfortable using the square formula for area, then just use the rectangular formula. Okay, so go ahead and try these three examples and then hit play when you're ready to find your answers. So you'll see the answers on the screen. For number 1, you should have gotten 15 yards squared. For number 2, 48 inches squared. And for number 3, 4 centimeters squared. And you'll see for my third example, I have both methods shown so you can see both examples. So let's just review one more time when we're finding the area of squares and rectangles. Remember, area is the amount of space inside a 2D shape. We're going to use our formula sheet to help us. So when we're looking at rectangles, we are going to use our area formula of length times width. And when we're looking at our squares, we could do area equals length times width, or area equals side squared. Both formulas work, and we'll definitely practice this so it becomes a little more clear for you guys.